let's introduce an example, a little more complicated example of sprite, and here we will create a class mySprite that will inherit from pygame.sprite.sprite. So the result, the output of this one is this, and you see we have more sprites here that are running together, and let's see how this works. Okay, first of all we create a width and height of 1000 and 200 and 600. That is the size of the window that is created somewhere here. Screen equal pygame.display.setMode size. So this is the size. Then we create a frame rate of 20 frame per second. Let me make it of 60. You see, as 60 is it's very fast. We could make our little trick here with the update and self index plus equal 1. Instead of self index plus equal 1, we say dot 1, and then instead of self index here we are going to do int. So now if we run it, you see that it will go very slow, perhaps too much, so we're going to 0.5. Okay, and now as you can see it's going slower, maybe also 0.4. Okay, or as you want, 0.35. Okay, and choose your favorite kind of, while the frame rate is still at 60, so you can make other thing go faster. Okay, now that we have created the screen, make the FPS, that is a frame rate, that this is just a number, but the object to control the frame rate is this one, the clock object here, clock equal pygame.time.clock. And then there is this clock.tick FPS, that is 60, that is inside the while loop that runs everything. And so after that we can ignore this one. We won't use it. You see that works the same, and then we have this main function here where we initialize pygame, and as we seen before we create the main surface where everything is splitted, and we give a name to the window. The name is here trace, and then we have 4 different animation, 4 different sprites with 4 different animation. It's the same character, but it can be a different character, but it has 4 different actions that or kind of animation: idle, jump, walk, and run, and different position here. So this one uses this class mySprite, and then I use this pygame sprite group here, and I add the sprites that are these 4 sprites: idle, jump, walk, and run. And so I add all these sprites into my group, and then in the while loop here that goes on forever, apart from these lines of code here where that makes you close the window, there is a group update screen fill of 000. So this is to clean the screen every frame. Then I draw the images on the sprites on the screen and update the screen at this frame rate. Eventually I quit when I go out of the while loop. And so we need to go and see how my sprite works. So how these images are loaded. First of all, we use the superclass sprite that has some features in it yet loaded, and so I create my def init where I pass the action here, when idle, jump, walk and run. I pass the follow this to create 4 sprites. The default one is this one. And so we have self action, that is the jump action, the jump string, jump or idle, etc. We have this counter here, index. We have this one. Let me delete it because we because we have made it here. And we don't need also this. Okay, and so we make a list of surface with this function here that loads all the images. It's just a for loop where it all loads all the images. Just because images are more than 10 for each action here, it will cause problem because if I don't use that method, it would place this 10, 11, 12 until 15 after the number 1. And so to avoid this, I made this function that puts before as first images the images 1 to 9, and then all the other, and then puts them together and return it to like an ordered list in this list surfaces. So this one got all the images of the animation. The first animation is the first or the list. Then we have the rectangle for the position here that gets the rectangle of where the image is. And then we make the top left, that is where it is. It will be blitted, will be positioned on the screen. It will be taken by location, that is by default 0, 0, but we pass it here 0, 0, 200 and 0, 400 and 600. So now we have everything to place our sprites, and we got the update. So it starts here at 0, 0, at 200, 0, etc. To animate it, you see here there is my group update. This is to draw it. This is to change the image to show for every frame. And to change it, we got this counter here. And then if it goes out of the number of images for each list, it will return to 0, making a loop. And this self image will be the next image for every frame. If so, it will put the different images on the same spot, making the illusion of an animation. But if you don't want to change the image for every frame, because you have seen that at 60 frames per second is too fast, the animation, you can slow it down, increasing this counter index instead of 1 of a fraction, 0.35 for example. The more is close to 1, the more it will go fast, and the more is close to 0, the more will go slow. But as this, of course, it's an index of a list, it cannot accept a float number, so I put an integer number. So until this one is 0.35, it will remain 0, and then it will increase to 0.70, it will remain 0. When it is 1.0 0.5, okay, it will be 1. So it will take 3 times to 3 frame rate to update the image, and so it will go slower. And so we can use this to make it go slower. Instead, if I go and put 0.5, you see that it will go faster, and so on. So that's all. This is how it works. And now, so with my group here, with this my group where I put all my sprites, I will have all my sprites drawn together, with this updated together and drawn together, and so this will make everything go smooth and easy to manage too.